Okay, so here it is. Here's the second part of the video, continuation on the notes. Okay, number 5. We are looking at problems that have a combination of two types of factoring, right? And I already told you what's the first part. Here's number 5. Negative 3x squared minus 3x plus 126. And this is just factoring it. And remember, you're going to look for one type of factoring first. Always look for this when looking at a polynomial. And then after you factor it, that one method, then another method is going to also apply. What's the first method that we look for every time, all the time? A number? Yeah, you look for a common number or you look for a common variable. But what is it called, right? I have the techniques up there on the board. What is it? A greatest common factor. You look for a common factor, and obviously the greatest. But also here, if you have one here in the front, on the x squared that has a negative, you actually also have to factor out the negative. So what are we factoring out here? A negative and a... Does 3 go into 3? Does 3 go into 126? It actually does. So the GCF is negative 3. That's the first type of factoring that's going to be true for all of the problems on this assignment. Always look for a GCF. There will be a GCF. And then what's going to be left in here? Well, negative 3 times what to give me this? Well, isn't it just going to be x squared? Yeah. But what you have to be careful is when you factor out a negative, the signs change, right? So you better not put a negative here. What should this one be? Positive, see? So negative times positive is negative. I don't need to put a number, right? So I just need just the x, right? Negative 3 times positive x is negative 3x. If you put a negative here, it'll be negative times negative will be positive. That would be incorrect. So watch your signs when you factor out a negative. Pretty much you just switch them, right? So if this is positive, what is it going to be over here? Well, negative, right? And then you just got to determine or calculator time. 42, you got it? Okay, good, 42. So that'll be the first type of factoring that's going to be true for all these problems here. But then, then this part that's left over will be another type of factoring. You'll be able to factor this out. Yeah, that's going to be a product of binomials. So that's the one where you... How do we do this? Oh, I got a list. Anybody can figure what this is already? I mean, we make a list of the 42s, but 6 times 7? Everybody convinced that 6 times 7? Why? Because 6 times 7 is 42, and then I'm supposed to subtract those. Can I subtract 7 and 6 to get what number is here? Can you subtract 7 and 6 to get a 1? Yeah. So yeah, it is going to be 6 and 7. But yeah, still practice the, this thing where you, make a list of the factors. Okay, so you said it's going to be a 6 and a 7. X. Oh no, my pen is dying. It's done. Oh, look at that. Bye. Okay, and what are going to be the signs? Minus on the and plus on the 7? Yeah, correct. Okay, we're done with these easy ones. Okay, now look at these next ones that follow. Number 6. Let me give you a minute and see what you do with this one. All right. That's it. Okay, yeah, 5 worked, and I tried other ones. I can't find any other ones that, I think 5 is it. Okay, so put 5 then. 5 is the GCF. You always look for a GCF. They're all going to have a GCF first. Okay, how many times does 5 go into 80? 16x squared, right? Is that what goes in this first? Yeah. Minus what? 9, correct. Okay, so that's the first type of factoring, always GCF. Okay, we factored it out. But now this, whatever remains here, will also be able to factor again. That's going to be true for all the problems today. Can anybody tell me what type of factoring this one is? Huh? Difference of squares. Let's see. Let me do it over here on the side. Is this a difference of squares? Do you remember the other way I was showing you if it's a difference of squares, it would have to be a difference, and if you figure out what's being squared here, you'll get it. Anybody can tell me what is being squared to give you this, and anybody can tell me what is being squared to give you this? A 4x and a 3. What does that mean? This means that if you can figure these out, then how should the 2 parentheses go? How should the 2 parentheses go? Well, on the front should be the 4x and the 4x. And on the back should be what? A 3 and a 3. And the signs should be, we had it today on the Padlet, 1 plus and 1 minus, right? So that middle term cancels out. You guys remember that? Yeah. So how does 16x squared minus 9 factor out? It actually factors out to this. Yeah? So we're going to put that right there. So the answer, or the factored form is, you still got the 5 out there. The final factored form is 5 parentheses, and one of them is 4x plus 3. The other one is, all right, because now we learned that the difference of squares, that's a real popular one. Okay, 7. Maybe now you'll be a little bit warmed up to 7. Here's number 7. So this next one, 7. Okay, 75 x 4 minus 3. All of these, I'm telling you, all of these are going to first have just a GCF, a common factor. There is a common factor. If it's not a variable, then it has to be a number. Obviously, this one doesn't have a variable in common because only this one has an x, this one doesn't. What's the common factor here? 3. Good. 3 of what give you 75? 3/4, right? You guys should be good with your quarters, with your 25 times tables. Okay, 25 times 3 is 75. Yeah, 25 3/4 is 75 cents. So 25x4 minus 1. Okay, that's the first type of factor in the GCF. The second type of factoring is this one. This one will also factor again. Anybody, is this a difference of squares again? Actually, it is, right? Let's do a little side work over here. Side work over here. How do you factor the 25x4 minus 1? Well, I have to be convinced that it's a difference of squares. I already know it's a difference. There's the minus. The question is it true that these are square numbers or square parts here? What is being squared here? A 5 what? C5x squared, because now I got to get to a 4, so it has to be 2 and 2, yeah? You can't just put 5x, right? Because if I put 5x, it'd be x squared. But I have to square to get a 4. And what is 1? 1. Remember, 1 times 1 is 1. Don't put 1 times 1 is 2. That is right. I am convinced that this is a difference of squares. And if it's true, how does it factor out? How would be the two parentheses for difference of squares? Well, the front is 5x squared and 5x squared. Yeah. The back is a 1 and a 1. Yeah. And 1 plus, 1 minus, right? So that middle term cancels out. Okay, this is the way that this 25x squared minus, so what's the final answer here? Final answer is, remember, you still got this 3 here. And then this is these two, right? This is the final answer. 5x squared plus 1. 5x squared minus 1. Okay, last one, yeah? Yeah. I think you got it. Number 8. All right. 20x10. Oh, what? Minus 125. Okay, let me give you a minute to try that. Anybody got the GCF? Just the GCF so far? Dean?
I got like the first thing.
Yeah, what is the greatest common factor? Just the 5? I think he's right. I think that's right. 5 can go into the numbers. Yeah, tell me, what did you get in here?
4x.
25? Correct, that's correct. And I know this is not a product of binomials because there's only 2. Usually it has 3, but this is possibly a difference of squares. Well, I do have the difference. Let me see over here, side work. Is this a difference of squares? Is this, you got it? Are you convinced something is being squared to give you this and something is being squared to give you this? Well, I know this one. This one's easy. That's a 5, right? I'm good with that one. 5 times 5 is 25. What you get here? 2x what? 8? You guys think it's 8? No, it's 5.
Oh wait, no, never mind. I was thinking wrong. Don't worry about it.
But you see why it's a 5? Because if I do x to the power of 5 times x to the power of... Remember the exponents, when you multiply, you add those?
Yeah, I was messing it up.
Yeah, watch out with those rules. Yeah, watch out. Okay. And if that's true, and you are convinced that it is a difference of squares, then what are the two parentheses? Well, in the front is a 2x5 and a 2x5. Yep. On the back is what? A 5 and a 5. Yep. And what goes in the middle? Well, one of them's going to have a plus. The other one's going to have a minus. Okay, so this replaces this, right? So your final answer, your final factored form here is 2x5 plus 5, 2x5 minus 5. Okay, there it is.